Good morning from a sunny Pittsburgh, or good afternoon or evening. No matter where you are in the world, we are thrilled that you're joining us. I'm Delo Blau, the Director of the Office of International Services, or OIS as we're known around the Pitt campus. I'm joined this morning by Dr. Ariel Armani from the University Center for International Studies. That's OIS's parent unit at Pitt. And I'm also joined by other members of the OIS team that you'll meet a bit later. I know that all of us had hoped that this year would start out a bit differently than it is. We would love to be welcoming you all to a large auditorium on the Pitt campus, where many of you would be suffering through a day of orientation with jet lag, but also with the excitement that comes from being in a new place, looking forward to new friendships, wonderful adventures, and a great education. And I'm thrilled for those of you who are in Pittsburgh and able to do that, but I'm also thrilled for the rest of you. We do look forward to the day when all of you can be here and that can happen again. For now, though, I remain hopeful for your coming year, no matter where you are beginning your education. It can still be a year of exciting new adventures and the start of a great education at the best university in the world. I can assure you that everyone on Pitt's campus has been working extremely hard over the past few months to make sure that the experience that you have this year will be as rewarding as it is unique. Again, we are thrilled that you have chosen Pitt as your educational home, and we're really happy to have you with us this morning. Please do know that this meeting this morning will be recorded so that anyone else can look at it later on. And now I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Ariel Armani, the Vice Provost for Global Affairs and the Director of the University Center for International Studies. In addition to leading the university's global engagement, Dr. Armani also holds faculty appointments in the Graduate School of Public and International Affairs and the Department of Political Science in the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Armani has published nearly 20 books and special issues, his latest being The Global Edge, Miami in the 21st Century. Dr. Armani has been a Fulbright Scholar, a Rockefeller Foundation Scholar, and Residential Fellow at the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars. He earned a PhD from the University of Pittsburgh Department of Political Science and a certificate in Latin American Studies from one of the Pitt centers that he now directs. Dr. Armani, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Dilo. Thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to give you an official welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. As Dilo said, I know that you're joining us from all over the world. So first of all, I hope you and your families are doing well and staying healthy. I'll be brief because I know that the team at the Office of International Services has worked very hard to put together a great program for this welcome session. So I want to start by telling you a couple of things about me. As Pitt's Vice Provost for Global Affairs, I'm responsible for the university's global strategy and engagement. I'm also, as you heard, the Director of the University Center for International Studies, or UCIS, where a number of important university programs come together. These include 6 global and area study centers, the Nationality Rooms program, Study Abroad, and the Office of International Services, or OIS, which you know very well. As you've also heard, I was an international student at Pitt myself. I came to study in the United States for graduate school from my home country of Argentina, receiving my PhD in political science here at Pitt in the not too distant past. I also had the good fortune to live and work around the world. I was a visiting professor at a number of distinguished universities in other countries. For example, Nankai University, Nankai Daxue, in Tianjin, China. We all know that these are complicated times. So I want to share 2 important messages with you. The first one is that You're very lucky. You have the fortune to be joining one of the best universities in the world. Pitt is one of the most important research universities in the world. Its professors are among the best in the United States. They are not only great scholars, but also amazing teachers. But there is more. Even though I know that you are concerned about the limitations imposed by the global pandemic, you are part of a historic cohort of students. Don't see the current situation as a constraint, but as an opportunity. The pandemic has accelerated a number of global processes, among them profound changes in how we work. The future of global work is here. You will have the opportunity to learn key skills that will prepare you to succeed in whatever you choose to do. This is how we think at Pitt. We are resilient. We innovate constantly. We think creatively. This is a unique opportunity to join a community of people who are thinking ahead of everyone else, who are eager to shape the future. My second message is that we at the University of Pittsburgh are personally and professionally committed to your success. We have worked hard to provide you with a range of options to engage in your studies. We have many people advocating for you in Washington, D.C. and other key places. We have fought hard when the US government wanted to impose restrictions on international students. In other words, we are here to do everything in our power to protect your rights, to keep you safe, and to provide you with the best education in the world. In the next weeks, you will start becoming acquainted with many of the wonderful staff and faculty who make this university a special place. I encourage you to continue to reach out to them and take advantage of all the resources available to you, whether remotely or on campus. We are embarking on a new journey together to continue building Pitt as one of the great universities in the world. We hear a lot of nationalist rhetoric and xenophobia these days, of global leaders trying to cut off their countries rather than embracing the world. Through our emphasis on global engagement and openness, Pitt is speaking out about the importance of welcoming students, scholars, and staff from all over the world. Being a truly global community makes us stronger, a more vibrant university. In September, you will have a chance to hear directly from Chancellor Gallagher. I can honestly tell you that if anyone understands and appreciates the key values that underscore our global engagement, Pitt to the world to Pitt, it's him. So again, welcome to Pitt and have a wonderful, productive session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Armani. It's very nice to have you here. Appreciate it. And now I would like to introduce Sarah Jones. Sarah is the Associate Director of OIS. She is the one that keeps the office running on a day-to-day basis, bar none. And Sarah is going to bring you some words of welcome as well.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah. I'm so pleased to be here. I want to tell you a little bit about OIS and what we do. At any given time, the University of Pittsburgh is fortunate to have almost 6,000 international people as part of our Pitt community. This is students, scholars, employees, and their families. And so one of the primary things we do in OIS is to help all of those people, help you as students understand the rules and regulations about being an international student. So while it's your job to maintain your legal immigration status if you are inside the United States, it is our job to help you do that. And we spend a lot of time making sure that we are prepared to do that for you. We do not work directly for the US government. We are Pitt employees, and we want to help set you up for success in the Pitt community. So a couple of things I wanted to hit first to make sure that you understand some of your obligations as an international student. You should already be familiar with the pre-arrival checklist in My OIS, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. You will use My iOS throughout your time at Pitt. It was very carefully curated to deliver the most important information to you throughout this summer and moving forward. So please take time to go through it. There is actually quite a bit of information as to how to maintain your immigration status in the pre-arrival checklist. But I wanted to give you a couple of highlights that we usually talk about every year at orientation. These are things that are very important in order to maintain your status, and they're things that we have seen some students struggle with in the past. So I wanted to make sure you're aware. Probably the most important thing as an international student is that you are expected to maintain full-time enrollment. If you're a graduate student, full-time enrollment means 9 credits fall and spring term. If you're an undergraduate student, full-time enrollment is 12 credits fall and spring term. There are no requirements for enrollment over the summer term. What this means for you as an international student is that you may not be able to withdraw from a class if it will bring you below full-term enrollment. You may see some of your colleagues and your classmates who are US citizens, they might be able to do that a little bit easier. You need to check with OIS first. We will work with you to explore all options, but it's very important that you're enrolled full-time. Another big topic that we really need to discuss with you if you have opportunities is employment. So international students are permitted to be employed and working on campus part-time. Any opportunities off campus, you should really talk to OIS about. This is not just jobs, this is internships, this is research collaborations at another university. This is even something that may look like volunteering that you have an opportunity to do. It's very important that as an international student that you get proper authorization to do any kind of off-campus activity. And so if you have an opportunity that comes your way, please come talk to OIS about that, and we will do everything we can to make it work for you, because we know these experiences are important. So those are the top 2 items that I wanted to hit today. The other thing is that we communicate with so many people, like I said, at any given time. We're going to be using your Pitt email to send you emails and communicate with you. You will get some emails that get sent to everybody, and then you will get some that are just to you personally. We need you to read those emails. That is how we tell you what is coming next for you and what you need to be looking at and be aware of. And we also have a lot of really fun things that we're trying to share with you to help you get involved in the community, whether you're here or whether you're not here. So I would really implore you to regularly check your emails from the Office of International Services and let us know if you need clarification on anything, okay? So next you're going to hear from the student team. Each school at the University of Pittsburgh has a particular immigration specialist that is assigned to that school. That immigration specialist handles all of the casework and the advising for all of the international students in that school. And we also develop relationships with your faculty and staff. So as we're going through our portfolios today, I want you to pay attention and find out who your immigration specialist is. It's always best to contact them directly with questions because they know your school best. You can contact your immigration specialist either by email or scheduling an appointment. You can look on the ois.pitt.edu website to schedule appointments and to find the email of your immigration specialist. So now you're going to hear from each member of the student team. They will tell you what schools they work with. They're going to tell you a little bit about what they enjoy in Pittsburgh and at Pitt, and some tips on how to find success as a student at the University of Pittsburgh. And I'll go first. I do have a small portfolio. So I work with all of the business students at Pitt, both graduate students in the CATS Graduate School of Business and undergraduate students in the College of Business Administration. I work with all students in the School of Education and also our regional students. We have Pitt campuses in Bradford, Johnstown, and Greensburg, and I work with those students as well. I think that the thing I like best about Pittsburgh is that it's a medium-sized city with big city amenities. It doesn't feel too big, but it has plenty of things to do, and it's very accessible. You can reach all of these things. So I always enjoy a nice, manageable size city, and I think that's exactly what Pittsburgh is. So I hope that some of you can enjoy that soon. And I would have to say some advice that I would give to new students, and this is for all new students, international and non-international students. The Pitt librarians can become your best friend in terms of finding success in your studies. So I would encourage you to visit the website of the University Library System. We have 16 libraries at Pitt. One of them is our General Hillman Library, and the rest of them are specific to schools and disciplines. So we have a library for the nursing school, for the law school, for an economics library. So those librarians are specialized in your fields, and they can help you find the information you need when you're doing your research and when you're doing your classes. I think students who connect with the libraries and the librarians find that it's kind of a secret hidden tool that is out there for you, but not everybody uses. So I would encourage you to look that up. It's called the Pitt University Library System. They will be offering services no matter what posture the university is in. So I would encourage you to check that out. Again, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. I'm going to give this to Kaylee. She's going to start next.
Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee Rush and I am the new student specialist in OIS. So I work with all of our new incoming international students. It's very possible that you'll find my name on one of your many I-20 documents that you've received in the past few months. So I'm not an immigration specialist, but I do work with you up until orientation, or right now what we call our welcome session. And then I slowly integrate you into our immigration specialists. So I have lived in Pittsburgh my entire life, and one of my favorite things to do in Pittsburgh is all of the outdoor activities. So if you're more of an outdoors kind of person, there's plenty of bike trails. You can go kayaking at Point State Park, which is not very far from Oakland. There's Shenley Park, very close to the campus, where you can run, walk, or bike on the trails as well. And if you find yourself coming outside of Pittsburgh a little bit, there's plenty of places to hike that aren't too far of a drive from Pittsburgh. So that is my absolutely favorite thing to do in Pittsburgh. A piece of advice that I would give is to always ask questions. In the US, we really encourage questions. So make sure to get advice, ask for clarification on things, and remember that professors and whatever instructor you have while you're studying at Pitt is here to help you. So I'm very happy to welcome you all here, and I'm going to pass this on to Jean Wenner, who is one of our immigration specialists in the office.
Thanks, Kaylee, and welcome everyone. My name is Jean Wenner. Like Kaylee said, I'm an immigration specialist. My schools are the School of Computing and Information, the School of Nursing, and the School of Social Work. And one of my favorite things about Pittsburgh is the cultural activities. There are so many different cultural activities that you can take part in. One of them is the Carnegie Museum of Art, which is right in the heart of Oakland. There's also the Phipps Conservatory, which is a national conservatory for natural plant life and things like that that you can see inside an inside location. And then there's also one of my favorite places in Pittsburgh is the Andy Warhol Museum. And these are all great representations of the city of Pittsburgh. They also tell a lot about US history and culture in general. So I hope that you get to explore one of those locations or all of them at some point during your time here. And my advice to you is also to explore in and around Pittsburgh. Don't just stay in Oakland. Get out there and see different parts of the city because you know, Pittsburgh is not just Oakland. And so I encourage you to explore different areas like Shadyside or the South Side. Another little neighborhood called Lawrenceville is really historic and is a great cultural location for restaurants and cafes and other fun things to do around the city. So all of those places you can access through the bus system as well, which you can use your PIT ID to use the buses around the city. So when you can, I hope that you get a chance to explore around the city. So I'm going to pass it off to our next immigration specialist, Susanna.
Thanks, Jean. Good morning, everyone, or good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm really delighted to be here and get to speak in person to some of you who maybe I've spoken to already through email or on video calls. I'm really so glad that you made it and that we're here. Like Jean said, my name is Susanna Deemer. I use they, them pronouns. I'm an immigration specialist on the student team. And the schools that I work with are the Graduate School of Public and International Affairs, also known as GISPIA, the School of Dental Medicine, and the School of Law, as well as the School of Engineering. So those are the schools that I work with. I am also from Pittsburgh. I grew up here. I actually got both my degrees here. I got my bachelor's degree and my master's degree from Pittsburgh. And one of the things that I have always loved about being in Pittsburgh is that there are a lot of international grocery stores and restaurants. I'm a really big foodie. I love to cook. I love to eat. So being in the international grocery stores is always something I really enjoy. Recently, I've been cooking a lot of Korean food and Thai food, and I find that I can always find the ingredients that I need to cook those dishes. So if you ever want to talk about food, I love to talk about food. And in terms of my recommendations, I also have studied abroad a few times and traveled. And when I was thinking about what to recommend, I was thinking about my own experience. And this is kind of like maybe a piece of social advice is to be brave. So I think that sometimes I would get to the end of an experience or an end of a semester, and it would be like the last class. And that would be the first time that I would kind of look to the person to my right and say, oh, what did you think of that class? And that's kind of too late to, you know, really organically build that friendship. And as you're thinking about developing your friendships and community in Pittsburgh, or maybe, you know, remotely, I think especially remotely, right? Reaching out, putting yourself out there, being honest about, you know, what kinds of experiences you enjoy and things like that. I think people really are attracted to vulnerability and, you know, people kind of putting themselves out there. And that's a great way to make friends and just kind of develop your community in Pittsburgh and at Pitt. So I would say be brave and be brave early. So I'll pass it on to Caitlin, who is our next immigration specialist on the student team.
Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin, or you can call me Katie. So Katie Dawson. I am also an immigration specialist, and I recently joined the iOS team. I just moved back to Pittsburgh. This is kind of my home base as well. So I'm really glad to be back and really happy to be welcoming you this morning. In terms of my portfolio, I work with students from the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, the Graduate School of Public Health, the School of Health and Rehabilitation Sciences, the School of Medicine, School of Pharmacy, and the College of General Studies. So those are my portfolios. In terms of my favorite thing about Pittsburgh, like I said, I recently moved back to this area after being away for about 15 years. What I really love is the landscape, kind of all the green hills and the rivers. Pittsburgh is located in the Appalachian Mountains, I'm a proud Appalachian myself. So it's really nice to be back among the hills, and you'll see some pretty steep ones here in Pittsburgh, as well as all the ways to get around, like lots of stairs and lots of bridges. So yeah. In terms of advice, I would say that, you know, it's important as you're kind of building your study schedule, really to have a schedule. I'm sure some of you, you know, many of you are graduate students, so you're already familiar with university life. Also, there's, you know, new students and maybe are experiencing a university experience for the first time. And I'd say that, you know, it's really helpful to be able to kind of have a set schedule, so that you have some time when you are on studying and kind of time when you're off and being able to relax, because both of those things are important. And I would say as well, having dedicated spaces for those activities in your home, whether that's in a residence hall, a dormitory, or your apartment, just having some space that's like your study space and then maybe your kind of relaxation space. That can really help to kind of separate out so that you're not just always thinking about studies. Maybe you have some time away from that too, because that being able to kind of recharge your batteries, so to speak, can be really helpful to, you know, really inform once you are back at your studies. So yeah, welcome again. And I'm going to be passing it on to Katie Von Lehman, one of our assistant directors. So thank you.
Hello, everyone. I might have met some of you before. We had a lot of face-to-face meetings this summer, and so I was lucky enough to meet several of you in those forums. My name is Katie Von Lehman, and I am the Assistant Director for Outreach and Assessment in OIS. And so my responsibilities are to really help the university understand and the larger community understand all the different things that we do with you. So a lot of the information about our population and different things that are coming up in the world, that's part of my responsibility. And the other is working with you and telling you about different things that are coming up and helping you to get engaged. So I am someone who grew up in Pittsburgh, but I have lived in a lot of different parts of the country. And my favorite thing about Pittsburgh is how friendly the people are. And you will see this both in the interactions you have with faculty and staff, but also just when you're wandering around Pittsburgh as well. Like I said, I've lived in Washington, D.C. and Seattle and a number of Philadelphia, a number of other places. And I have never lived anywhere where the people were as welcoming as they are in Pittsburgh. And so I think that that's one wonderful thing about our community that you will hopefully see very quickly once you arrive. And the best advice that I can give you is to get involved outside the classroom. I think that that is really helpful in so many ways to your experience as an international student. Not only it will help you enjoy your time more at the university, but it will also help improve your English language skills. It will help you to learn to network so that when you're looking for those employment opportunities, you will have an easier time doing so. It will help you in your classes. It will just help you in almost every way possible to get more involved while you're on campus. So speaking of getting involved, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to learn about those opportunities as a student. So as a part of your orientations, you are going to either have the opportunity to attend the Graduate Resource Fair or the Undergraduate Activities Fair. And both of those activities will, both of those events will allow you the opportunity to meet different groups and services on campus that will help you learn about how to get involved. One of the largest organizations for graduate students is the Graduate and Professional Student Government, GPSG. They do a lot of different professional events throughout the year for graduate students. And because there's such a large international student population for graduate studies, they actually do have a lot of focus on international topics as well. So they're a wonderful resource for you. For undergraduate students, there is a student government. There's also the SORC office, SORC, which stands for Student Organization Resource Center. For graduate students as well, there are some organizations that are for both grads and undergrads, and then there are some that are exclusively for undergraduate students. But there are hundreds of student organizations. And so there could be anything from, you know, a club that likes to cook different foods that Susanna would love, to different sports organizations, even where you're just watching. So if you wanted to find a group to watch, you know, different soccer, football games, you know, they have clubs for that. And so there are a lot of different ways for you to get involved while you're here on campus. Another opportunity that you have specifically for international involvement, in the city of Pittsburgh, there's an organization called Global Pittsburgh, which is really a large organization for anyone in the Pittsburgh area who is from another country or has lived in another country or just is interested in other countries. And so they do a lot of professional networking events as well that you can attend and meet different people from the Pittsburgh area. Then in USIS, the organization on campus that Ariel mentioned with its academic centers, you know, there is Latin American studies, there is Russian and Eastern European Eurasian studies, there is European studies, Asian Studies Center, African Studies Program, and Global Studies Center. And they all have different events, including open houses in the next few weeks, where you can really attend and meet people who are interested in your part of the world or studying your part of the world. And so they can be a wonderful resource. I know that they have a lot of different connections in the Pittsburgh community as well. For example, the Asian Studies Center, I know, works with the Japanese community group in Pittsburgh, as well as the Chinese Student and Scholar Association at Pitt. So there are a lot of different connections that they would be able to help you with while you are beginning your journey at the University of Pittsburgh. And then as far as ways to get involved in our office, every week we are going to send you an email called the Top 5 Tuesday. And this email is really tailored to tell you important announcements and information that has come up in the last week, or it will have reminders about things that you need to know for maintaining your status. And it will also have upcoming events so that you can get involved in those as well. Some of the events that we host, we do some different events, again, with organizations on campus, but one that we do through our office right now is Watch Party Wednesdays, where every Wednesday night we show a movie through Netflix, and people can sign in from wherever they are and chat with each other as we watch a movie together. And so that has been a wonderful way for people to, not feel quite as isolated during this time. And so you are going to start to receive the top 5 Tuesdays as the school year begins, but our events are also always listed on our OIS events calendar, which you can find on our website. The other series of events that OIS will be doing for you specifically is an extended orientation. So because we are not meeting with you in the same way that we normally meet with incoming classes, we have the opportunity to spend a little bit more time with you in a more productive way, we hope. Normally, orientation information is kind of in a very tight time schedule because so many people want to see you and interact with you during orientation. And so OIS typically only has 1 or 2 days to talk with you about all the different services and offices and opportunities there are for international students. And this year, as Ariel mentioned, we're really trying to innovate and look at things a lot differently. And so we have created an extended orientation to really help you. And so once the middle of September hits, we're going to start doing weekly topics with you to help you in your cultural adjustment, your academic adjustment to the United States, and also just do some of those introductions to other services and opportunities that you have. So some of the topics for this extended orientation are things like, if you have dependents who are joining you in Pittsburgh, there are different opportunities for them to get involved and organizations for them to meet so that they don't feel as isolated coming to, Pittsburgh. It can be very difficult for your spouses or children sometimes, especially if they're not as comfortable with English as you are. And so we're going to have a session for them. We're also going to talk about the academic culture in the United States. So, as Kaylee mentioned, asking questions is a big part of the academic culture in the United States. Group projects, presentations, those are all things that are very common in our American classrooms. And so we will be talking to you about those. We are also going to talk to you about how to network while you're here at the university. And so we have someone who is going to come in from Alumni Relations and talk to you about how you're not just a part of this, 6,000 people in our Pitt International community, and you're not just a part of the, 40-some thousand Pitt students, but you're a part of this huge Pitt community that includes alumni who are in the hundreds of thousands of people around the world that really expand the network of people that you can talk to about your experiences and help you on your professional, in your professional endeavors. We're also going to talk, in these extended orientations about employment opportunities, as Sarah Jones mentioned. So there are a lot of different topics that we're going to discuss that will hopefully help you not only in your academics and not only in your life outside the classroom, but also to really understand more about the United States. You know, you chose to study at the University of Pittsburgh, not just because of our great educational opportunities, but also hopefully because you wanted to be in the United States. And part of that experience is learning about different parts of our culture. And so I know that we are really trying to help you make the most out of that experience. So you will get emails about the extended orientation sessions and the opportunities to participate in those presentations. Like I said, once the middle of September is here, they will also be on our calendar. We would like to encourage you as much as possible to attend these sessions. A lot of people, even those who feel fairly comfortable in academics, will find that some of these sessions are really helpful. You know, we chose these different session topics because these are things that international students in the past have either struggled with or really appreciated having more information on in the past and felt like were the most helpful for them. And while we are planning to right now just do this for the fall, you know, we'll see how the extended orientation goes and what your feedback is to see if there are additional topics that would help you as you continue on your education here. This is a wonderful way, especially as we are not all seeing each other face to face, to be able to interact with your peers and to hear about their experiences as well. So, you know, all of you are very unique. Your experiences are going to be unique, and being able to share them with other students who are having similar experiences can be very helpful. And just, you know, for your knowledge, these extended orientation sessions are available to anyone who is currently in Pittsburgh and starting their education at the University of Pittsburgh. But we're also inviting students who had to defer so that you're going to use these sessions in order to help prepare themselves to start school in the spring with us at the University of Pittsburgh. It's also for students who are studying remotely. And finally, you know, we're also going to invite current students so that if, you know, they have not been able to learn this information yet, or if they want to come and share their experiences as well, this is an open time and opportunity for them to do so. We really do hope that this will be a meaningful experience for all of you doing this extended orientation. And it is my understanding that there are many schools that are also planning extended orientations due to kind of our special circumstances for this fall term. So this is something that we hope you will be able to work into your schedule to attend with us, because we really do think it will be helpful for you as a new student here at the University of Pittsburgh. So that is my big pitch for extended orientation. And like I said, I really appreciate that I got to meet some of you this summer, and I hope that you're going to join us for some of our events, because it's been just a wonderful way for me as well to connect with you. And please know that all of our events that we have, like the Watch Party Wednesday, are not just for you, but again, for your families as well. If you have not already met my son, you probably will hear him shouting at some point during some activity that we meet in the future. And that is one of the things that I love about what I do, is that it is helping to build that sense of community that does not just include you, but includes the people in your life as well. And so if you are, you know, in your home country still with your family and they want to watch the movie with us, you know, on a Watch Party Wednesday, they are more than welcome. You know, again, our motto is "You are welcome here," and we really mean that as much as I can possibly convey. So with that, I'm going to turn things back over to Sarah Jones so that she can talk to you a little bit about what comes next.
Okay, just a couple of things. The last part, I believe the last part of the pre-arrival checklist is what we use to collect the information we need from you if you are inside the United States to register your immigration record. This is what we will be doing over the next couple of weeks, and we absolutely need all of that information. So I would say the first thing to start working on is look at the orientation section of the pre-arrival checklist, go through each and every one of those items and upload any information that we need. If we're not going to be able to get it from you, we will email you directly until we can get it. So the sooner the better on that one. The other thing to take care of is your enrollment for class. This is whether you're inside or outside the country. Enrollment is handled at the school level. So if you are not already in touch with your academic department, now would be the time. I assume that you have been getting emails from your academic department already. They will handle how to get you enrolled, which classes to get you enrolled in. That's at the school level. If you're inside the United States, you will want to get a PIT ID. The office that handles that is called Panther Central. It is centrally located on campus, and they are open for services. They do have a website, so it's Panther Central, and they can help you get your PIT ID. I know a lot of people want that. Lastly, the university in general, including our office, is going to be needing to know who's in the country, who's out of the country, what are your plans academically, where are you going to be studying. So you are getting some surveys from the university. Please complete those surveys when we ask you to, because that's how we are able to do the work that we need to support you. So you have already gotten some surveys asking what your plans are for the fall term. You may get more. You will probably get one for the spring term. I know that surveys are not always something that we want to take the time to do. We try to make them as brief as possible, and we are actively using the data to figure out next steps. So please complete any surveys that you've received and you haven't done yet. That's all I have. I'm going to hand it over to Dilo for a few closing words.
Thanks, Sarah. So I hope that you've all enjoyed the morning and learned a little something to help you with your first year at Pitt. I'll end the meeting with you by telling you my favorite thing about Pittsburgh, which is the placement of the city. In the same day, it's really easy to visit one of the museums that Jean talked about in the city, then maybe take a hike in one of the city parks, and within the next hour, be out totally in the countryside. So my daughter and I, especially during this time of COVID when the kind of normal activities are not possible, my daughter and I love to just take drives, get in our car and go. And it doesn't take any time at all for us to be out of the city and be in the middle of the countryside, going through hills, farmland, seeing all of the trees and the forests around. And it's just lovely. And then again, in the next hour, be back in the city and enjoying city things. My advice to new students is something that I did when I started law school. I decided at the very beginning of that educational experience that I was never going to study on a Saturday night or Sunday morning. I broke that one or two times during the education, but not very often. That was my time to do what I wanted to do for myself. I went to law school in the evenings when I was working full-time, so you will believe me when I tell you I had no time to spare. My advice to new students comes from that experience. You've got to carve out that time and space for yourself. It's simply not healthy to immerse yourself totally into your studies with no time to relax. And I found that knowing during the week that I had Saturday to look forward to really helped keep me focused and helped me put my energies into what I needed to do during the week. And then it also gave me that completely downtime to just relax and let go. And that's my advice. So thank you again for joining us. Please do feel free to reach out to OIS. We want to be available to you. We want to answer all your questions. If it's a question that you're not sure we have the answer to, we may not, but we will be able to help you figure out where to get your answers. So please come to us with any questions, with concerns that you might have, with suggestions that you have for what the university could be doing better, what you need from us and the university. Please let us know. As Sarah mentioned, the first person you should try to contact about virtually anything is your immigration specialist. They are immigration specialists, so they won't be able to help you do everything, but again, we will try and help you figure out where to go. If you forget who your specialist is for your school, you can always check out the OIS website, which is very easy, ois.pitt.edu, and then look at the About OIS tab at the top and look for staff. And if you scroll down through the staff, you can find out who your specialist is. All the staff members for the student team have their specialist schools listed beside their name. As Katie said, we hope that we will see many of you in the extended orientation sessions in the coming week. We really do wish you the best for your coming year. Our hope for you is that first and foremost, you and your families will stay safe and healthy. But we also really hope that your educational experience will be vibrant and successful no matter where you are. We will continue to look forward to having us all together on the Pitt campus in the very near future. Thanks again and have a great day.